Welcome to Paris, where I have come on a bit of a detective adventure story because I've made an appointment at the Musée des Arts Décoratifs to go to their archives to see if I can find out a little bit more about the library that we bought from Billy at the convent. But before all of that, it is a rainy, blustery day and I'm going in to bash a coffee to have a spot of breakfast. I'm just taking a little walk around to show you the other rooms before we settle. It feels fitting that we're looking at the library, and today is the day of library, hopefully, discoveries.
So well, you feel really like an old building.
It's incredible. We stayed with our friends Chris and Sonia last night, so that we are fresh and raring to go today, and they've come with us for breakfast. We have a lot of decisions to make. There are many, many menus. Not gonna lie, making a decision has been a bit tricky. This room has the most extraordinary wallpaper. It is sumptuous. And the wall light, I feel as though I'm floating along the banks of the Nile. That's my Milano morning coffee, which I love. To be fair, I've never had it with whipped cream.
Would you like to dose yourself?
You can dose me. Chris is boldly leading the way in the use of the whipped cream. Let's give this a whirl.
I like to sip it like a dessert.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Merci beaucoup. Wonderful. The savoury croissants have arrived. Yeah, that's not chocolate, that's truffle and mushrooms. Is it good? Did you try it yet?
So good.
Which ones did you go for?
That's lychee and raspberry, and this is crème brûlée.
And this is confit orange and chocolate. Good morning, day. I am enjoying you already. If you're ever in Paris, I really do recommend coming here, even if you haven't got time to sit and have a coffee, just to take home some of their coffee sachets. I use them every morning. I use Milano morning, which is very mild.
It turned you into a bit of a coffee drink.
I am. Never drank coffee before. It's new for me. I always wanted to like it because I love the smell. And now, finally, I do like one very mild one. Okay, let's... Oh, look! The weather's cleared up a little bit.
Good.
Right, Musée des Arts Décoratifs?
Yes.
My appointment at the archives isn't until this afternoon, but there are 2 exhibitions on at the museum, and I thought you might like to see both of them. We certainly want to. One is celebrating 100 years of Art Deco, but excitingly, I think there's a new Orient Express carriage that can be viewed there. And the other is about a day in the life in a beautiful 18th century mansion. Imagine if there were a time machine.
Well,
I'd pack my paracetamol and antibiotics.
Just for the furniture and
go back in time.
Fashions, I think we should leave at that.
The thing that I love about the 18th century is it was the apotheosis of usefulness and beauty meeting. So an object could never just be useful. Oh, I love that. It really works. I don't need it to be fussy or fancy. There was none of that. It had to work. And it had to be fussy and fancy as well. So it's everything that I love. In fact, Voltaire said that the craze at the time was the superfluous, which is a necessity. So I think we're about to see what true luxury and beauty look like. We're starting in the courtyard of the house, where the lady of the house has just been deposited in her porter's chair. Now this would have had 2 beams, one on each side, going through those slots, and it would have been carried by 4 men, whilst the person inside sat very comfortably, surrounded by silk damask, being carried through the streets of Paris, away from the bustle and the noise on the street itself. I want to show you this little table, which seems very simple, obviously opens out to seat up to 6 people, but what you probably don't realise is it's actually made specifically for carriage. The legs fold flat, so the whole thing goes completely flat, and there's just a little raised edge on the top of the table, so if you're playing cards and the carriage is rumbling along, they won't fall off the edge. Isn't that extraordinary? The people inside them may have been jolted around without modern springs, but they could very happily have been writing their letters, reading books, having dinner, or playing cards with their friends. The day would start with the servants pulling back the curtains on the bed and waking the lord or lady of the house at about 7 a.m. with a breakfast of a meat broth with vegetables and some coffee or chocolate, the 2 most fashionable drinks of the day. Bathrooms were rare until the end of the 18th century, but this is the place that people would have come to have a little wash in the morning if they were lucky enough to have one. I love the bath. I mean, it's extraordinary, isn't it? It's like a long wicker chair with a lining. Exhausted from the rigours of having had a bath, one would have needed to lie down. In the 18th century, it was believed that one should lie down after a bath because it was very bad for the circulation. It would cause low blood pressure. And I mean, the circulation hasn't changed. I think people should still have a little nap after a bath these days. And here are the tools for the hairdresser. He would have powdered the wigs with that. Look, the chair is made for the hairdresser to be able to get to the wig. It's cut down. Upon waking, obviously, the lord of the house doesn't actually work, but that didn't mean that they were idle. So he would spend the days learning about the arts and philosophy, but also running and managing all of his properties. And he would often do that in his private study or library. And what is really interesting for us is we've just found out that the library was not therefore one of the formal rooms. It was actually one of the more private areas of the house, which is what we're now thinking of doing with the library that we got from Billy. So this is quite good to see that there was a precedent for that. Whilst Monsieur spends his time in his library in the mornings, Madame goes to her boudoir. So here she could do her embroidery, her needlepoint, maybe write some correspondence, eat bonbons. Personally, I think I'd rather be reading in the library, but I must say, she has a very beautiful room. And there you can see the chocolate pot, and everything is beautiful, not just decorative. And now Philip's heaven. A surtout de table, a little table parade, and this one entirely in glass, of frolicking festivities. And my goodness, look at the dinner service as well. The dinner service is by Sèvres and based on the birds in Buffon's natural history. There's a monteith that was used for cooling your glasses, refreshing them in between courses. And why don't we do that anymore? You see, everything was useful. One thing I really love is seeing furniture for uses that we don't make furniture for anymore, though we still do those things. So this chair is called a voyeuse, and it's meant for sitting astride it, facing the back of the chair. And that's why there's a cushion, a padded area on top of the back of the chair, so you can lean on it with your elbows. And it was for the people who weren't gambling, but who wanted to watch the game going on. Gambling was considered the scourge of France. Evenings would often end in gambling, but also in music and in witty conversation. Well, we've walked over to the 100 Years of Art Deco exhibition, and we're finding ourselves in the most gorgeous Art Deco library. Imagine the work you could get done there. Having said that, Philip, don't you think there's something a little bit Poirot about this?
Yes.
Because if the owner of the household who invited all of his friends to the country house weekend was sitting there, there would be spaces for the murderer to hide all over the place.
That's very true, but I also think you'd find the body just there.
Just there, just
With a
behind.
whiskey. There's a hand with a whiskey glass, a little puddle.
Now we're looking at the great age of travel and some of the interiors from the most beautiful ship of the Art Deco period, the Normandy. And there you can see the glorious Art Deco interior of the Normandy dining room. You can see one of the dinner services that they would have had, I mean, presumably in first class. It is by the designer Luc Lanel for Christophe. And now we're going down to the jewel of this exhibition and the jewel of the golden age of travel. We're going to go and see the Orient Express. This is one of the original 1929 carriages that's been restored. It was one of the lounge carriages. I mean, it just takes you back to another age, doesn't it? Can't you imagine just sitting down, exhausted after a long day of getting to the train station, putting your handbag up on the rack and settling in for a nice cup of tea? And here we have a new design for one of the bar carts. This is just made a couple of years ago, this design. It is spectacular. The level of craftsmanship in the crystal wall lights, the extraordinary treatment of the walls. Even the built-in clock is by Cartier.
It's like a tent feeling, isn't it, with the top and then the columns.
It really is quite jaw-droppingly beautiful. The perfect place, surely, to have a martini. And it's amazing to look at this, knowing that, I don't know, as I was growing up, I remember hearing that there'd been this once great train, the Orient Express, and to think that now, from last year actually, they reopened the route. They no longer just go between London and Venice. They now, once again, go all the way to Istanbul. It's just magical that it's come back to life. And here are more carriages reimagined for the future. This would be a suite, which would obviously turn into a bed when needed. And there's a photo of what it will look like as a bedroom. And just in case you don't feel like going to the dining cart that day, having a little meal for two, and you see, still using Limoges porcelain and Christophe tableware, just as they did on the Normandy back in the Art Deco period. Those companies still going strong in France, which has such a rich history of heritage. Oh, look at this shower! Can you imagine being on a train and having a shower as luxurious as that? It's just such a joy to look at. We can dream, can't we, darling?
Definitely.
Okay, this is going to sound very odd, but I think there's something sexy about train corridors. I mean, not all train corridors, but that's what was doing it for me. Here you can see a restoration of one of the original 1929 compartments, and you will notice something very different between this and the new ones, which is that there was no shower. Critically, there was no loo. There was only a sink, so you did have to have a beautiful dressing gown because you were going to be walking up and down that sexy corridor all evening to get to the bathroom. And this here is what I love the most about the world of luxury, because we can spend time saying, oh my goodness, it's not available to all, but look what it does. Look at all the craftsmanship that it keeps alive in France and around the world. All of these people employed in great crafts. What matters is that it's alive again and thriving, and all of this amazing craftsmanship is kept alive and rolling down those tracks. The time for my appointment has arrived. This is the library of the museum. It may be one of the libraries with the most beautiful view in the world of the Louvre, but I'm quite distracted by the things on the shelf. I'm near the profane prints. Still, things are not quite as exciting for us. We are going through archive folders, looking at woodwork manufacturers. We know that our library was made by Raymond. It's stamped on the back. I found something. I found an article in a home magazine from the 1930s with a couple of photos of rooms decorated by Villiers-Raymond. There are 2 dining rooms because it was part of an exhibition of dining rooms. So we're scanning in the article and anything else that we find, and I can study them better at home. And we also found a beautiful book by Georges Raymond, who I think might have been Villiers' older brother, and it's interior watercolours that he's made of modern interiors at the turn of the 1900s. I wish I could show you every single page. I have filmed all of them for my patrons, so they will be out on the Chateau Diaries patron page tonight. But I wanted to make sure you all got a glimpse of the incredible turn of the century interiors that we're looking at. However, we haven't found our library yet. There's still a lot more research to be done and a lot more libraries to go to when we're next in Paris. This really has been the place to do one's research, hasn't it, Philip? I could get quite used to this. But now we are on our way to one of Philip's favourite places in all of Paris, the auction house.
Any auctions are on or any viewings? I've no idea.
Let's have a look.
Here they have lots of different little auction houses who use this space to do the exhibitions of the upcoming auctions. So in one building you can go around and do the viewings of lots and lots of different auctions.
There's a lovely little cafe here as well.
They've got so many different rooms, and also in the streets around it there's loads of antique shops. It's a good area.
So it's a one-stop shop for antiques. Okay, we've started. Paintings. And not just any paintings. This is a Juan Miro, and this would set you back apparently between 200 and 300,000 euros if you are lucky enough to have them. A Raoul Dufy of a day at the races, that's 40 to 50,000 euros, and I love it. There's a lovely Matisse as well of this veiled woman. I think she's looking extremely mysterious. Well, we have found our favourite, and it's actually come in at a real bargain. Only 50 to 80,000 euros, but isn't it the most beautiful thing? It's by Jan Bruegel the Younger. Oh my goodness.
It is fantastic.
And look, painted just before the Grand Salon ceiling, so would go very nicely in the room.
It would, wouldn't it? Look at all the different animals.
It's just the most wonderful, wonderful
the shells there, and the crabs.
The monkeys.
Speaking of the museum.
The artichokes. Okay, artichokes. Well, there we go. That was the final thing that we were looking to find.
Great. So who's selling kidneys?
we have quite a lot of fun in each room thinking, what's the one thing? If we could get anything, if money were no object, what would we get? And there it was definitely the Jan Bruegel, the Younger painting. Oh my goodness, it was incredible. Now we're in a room that seems to specialise mainly in paintings from the 17th and 18th century. What have you found?
Most adorable leather cheetah.
It looks so cuddly and cute. In this room, and it's tough because there's a lot of beautiful ones, there is only one that I would consider, which is this portrait of Louis XV's wife with the little dogs, the beautiful fabric. Oh my goodness, if I could afford that, it would look so amazing in the new Grand Salon. Sadly at 20,000 I cannot, but I can still enjoy coming here and looking at it. And this is why I've said so many times before, do go to look at auction viewings, because it's completely free and it's like going to an ephemeral museum. You see things that are coming out of private collections, probably about to go back into private collections, and you get a chance to view them. This entire place is a sort of Philip heaven. These chairs are wonderful. I can just imagine those colours in the future Grand Salon, and the fact that they're echoing the vases of flowers, picking out the blues and the reds and, yep, even the browns off the ceiling. Brown is maybe not the colour that we want to accentuate. I'm trying to lighten that room as much as I possibly can. I was quite sold on the chairs, actually. I was thinking, my goodness, I'm already imagining them in the space. They look incredible with the furniture we've got already. And then we saw the estimate, 15 to 25,000 euros for 4 chairs. 4. So you won't be seeing them at Lalande, but you are seeing them today. And that's wonderful. They are Louis XV, they are original, they are stunning. And I'm happy we saw them. And I even sat in one, which was very, very pleasant. Oh, Philip, speaking of the Grand Salon, that would be very pretty, that colour in it, wouldn't it?
I love the carving.
Very nice. Unfortunately, it's quite stained, and I've no idea whether they would come out. We can't afford to have things recovered. We've already got one waiting to be recovered. But my favourite thing in this room is definitely this hanging bird cage. Now, it's already awesome on its own, but then we suddenly noticed that underneath it is a clock face. So if it's hung high enough, you can see the time underneath. And when the hour strikes, the little bird starts singing. I just think it's the most extraordinary clock I've ever seen. It dates from 1800 and is on for 6,000 to 8,000 euros. How cool is that?
It was a really good day.
But we're not there yet. We still need to find out where our library came from.
We'll get there.
To finish off a pretty perfect Parisian day of looking at beautiful antiques and beautiful books, all my favourite things, we are going to go for dinner in Baronne. And this used to be one of the Rothschild residences. So we can wonder, was our library once here? This is beautiful. This is a restaurant.
Yeah.
This is a pretty impressive entrance to a restaurant. We're sitting at our table now, and we're fairly certain that the library didn't come from this house. It's 2 meters 60 high, and I think this room must be 6 meters high.
All the way
to the top,
ceiling?
7?
I think to the top more than that, Steph. I think we're looking at least 5 here till the balcony.
It's amazing.
And then another 4 maybe.
And look behind you. There's this incredible bronze curtain in the fireplace. The fireplace which is way taller than us. I'm starting with fish carpaccio to a good day of hunting in Paris. Oh my goodness, my main course has arrived. I ordered an artichoke. You all know how I love artichoke. I've never seen it served like this. It's beautiful. It's with mimosa eggs in the centre and vinaigrette. And of course with fries, because I just can't help myself. And you have scallops on parsnip mash, all your favourite things. Amazing. Well, cheers again, darling. I love you so much. You are the most wonderful companion in life and in Paris.
You can't see me blush in this light.
Cheers.